All right, let's talk about the IELTS. Today, we're going to crack the code on one of the biggest English proficiency tests out there. We are going to demystify this whole exam and give you a super clear strategic path to help you nail that high score you're looking for. Let's jump right in.
Look, for so many people, the IELTS isn't just some test. It's a gateway, right? It's the key that could unlock studying at your dream university, getting that professional registration for your career, or even starting a whole new life in an English-speaking country. The stakes are high, and getting a great score, well, it's pretty much non-negotiable.
And this is the most important thing we're going to talk about today. Nailing the IELTS isn't just about how well you speak English with your friends. It's really about understanding the rules of the game. To do well, you have to master its structure and know exactly what the examiners are trained to look for. Think of it as a test of strategic communication.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll quickly cover the basics of the test. Then, we're going to pull back the curtain on the examiner's playbook, the exact criteria you're being scored on, especially in the speaking section. After that, we'll dive deep into real strategies for grammar, vocabulary, and fluency. And finally, we'll put it all together into a solid game plan for test day.
Okay, first things first, we have to establish the rules of the game. What exactly is the IELTS test? You got to know the landscape before you can plan your attack. The very first choice you have to make is picking the right test for you. The IELTS Academic is for anyone heading into higher education or needing professional registration, like for doctors or nurses. Then you've got the IELTS General Training, which is more for people looking to migrate or for work and training programs that are below a degree level. Knowing your goal is step number one. Now, no matter which test you take, the structure is always these 4 parts. You get about 30 minutes for listening, a solid hour each for reading and writing, and then a pretty intense 11 to 14 minutes for your face-to-face speaking test. Knowing these timings is absolutely critical, both for your practice and for managing your time on the actual day. Okay, now we're getting to the absolute core of our strategy. If you want to win the game, you have to know how it's scored. So it's time to open up the examiner's playbook. That whole 11 to 14 minute speaking performance, it's not judged on some vague feeling of whether you have good English. No way. It is systematically scored against just 4 specific things. And here's the best part. These criteria are public. This isn't some big secret. It's a framework. And knowing it is your biggest advantage. And here they are. These are the 4 pillars of your speaking score. Fluency and coherence, that's all about how smoothly and logically you speak. Lexical resource, that's your vocabulary. Grammatical range and accuracy is about using different kinds of sentences correctly. And pronunciation, well, that's all about speaking clearly. Every single strategy we talk about from now on is designed to get you the most points in these 4 areas. Let's kick things off with a big one, grammatical range and accuracy. Showing the examiner that you can use a whole variety of sentence structures is a direct path to a higher score. It's not about being perfect, but about showing that you're flexible and in control of the language. The key to showing range is using what are called complex sentences. Now, complex doesn't mean complicated. It's actually pretty simple. It's just a sentence with a main idea, and then at least one extra bit of information connected to it. It's all about how you link your ideas together. And check this out. This is a perfect example. Instead of 2 short, choppy sentences like, we missed the bus, we had to take a taxi, you just combine them. It becomes one smooth, logical thought. We had to take a taxi because we missed the bus. See? That instantly shows a higher level of grammatical skill. So, how do you actually build these? Well, you use linking words. Think of these as your personal toolkit. Words like because, although, and if are the magic connectors that let you build these more sophisticated sentences. They let you explain cause and effect, contrast, conditions, you name it. Practice using them until they just roll off your tongue. Next up, lexical resource, which is basically your vocabulary. A huge mistake people make is thinking this just means memorizing a list of big or difficult words. But the reality is way more subtle than that. The examiners are actually looking for precision, flexibility, and natural-sounding language. So here's the deal. You should focus on collocations. Those are words that just naturally go together, like tight-knit community or vibrant atmosphere. You should also practice paraphrasing. That's just saying the same thing in a different way. And yeah, when you do use less common vocabulary, you have to make sure it fits the context perfectly.
Natural language will score you higher than forced, unnatural-sounding words every single time. And that brings us to a really important warning, especially when it comes to idioms. Using an idiom correctly? Great, it can be really effective. But getting it even a little bit wrong can seriously hurt your score. The advice from the experts is crystal clear. If you have any doubt, it's so much safer to just use precise words you know you're comfortable with.
All right, let's talk about the one that often causes the most anxiety: fluency and coherence. How are you supposed to speak smoothly without all those awkward pauses, especially when you're under pressure? Well, I've got some good news for you. You don't have to be a perfect robot. In fact, making a mistake and then correcting yourself is actually a sign of really high language awareness. The key is just to do it smoothly and quickly without messing up the overall flow of your conversation. But there is a huge difference in how you do it. A quick, clean fix like, I enjoy reading novels. That's fantastic. But that hesitant, all over the place correction, that just breaks the flow and really hurts your fluency score. The goal here is a quick fix, not a total breakdown. So, what do you do if your mind goes blank and you just need a second to think? You use strategic time-buying phrases. Saying something like, "That's a fascinating question," tells the examiner that you're thinking about the idea, not struggling with the language. This is a pro move that saves your fluency score while giving your brain a crucial second to come up with a great answer. Okay, so we've got the tools, we understand how we're being scored. Now, let's put everything together into a clear, actionable game plan for the 3 different parts of the speaking test. Here it is, a simple 3-step approach. In part 1, your job is to elaborate. Give more than a one-word answer to simple, personal questions. In part 2, the monologue, your mission is to use that 1 minute of prep time to structure a really solid 2-minute talk. And then in part 3, you have to shift gears completely and analyze more abstract topics. Each part tests a different skill, so you need a different strategy for each one. And this really brings us back to our main point, doesn't it? This quote sums up our entire approach perfectly. Your goal isn't just to have a friendly chat. Your goal is to show off specific skills that match the official scoring criteria. It's a performance, and your strategic prep is your rehearsal. So, there you have it. We've laid out the rules of the game, and we've handed you the examiner's playbook. You now know what they're looking for, and you know how to give it to them. The question isn't, what is the IELTS anymore? The real question is, how are you going to use all this strategic knowledge to prepare, to practice, and to go out there and win your IELTS game?